Yo, what is good, beautiful people? Here we are, yet another episode of SelzSpeaks. So I am here trying to get better. The babies are sleeping. That means nobody's here to distract me. I'm here to rock with you guys. Listen, if you haven't done so before, I want you to take this minute to subscribe to the YouTube page. If you're looking on YouTube, I want you to subscribe to the podcast, like, share it with your friends, spread the word. The podcast is back and we adding the video element. We back into it. Last time I was, I did the best I could. This time I got a nice little shape up. I'm trying to look a little better for the, we doing anything, doing your thing. And listen, if you guys see some, if you guys have any feedback, any advice, you already know, shoot it my way, shoot it my direction. It's all about progress. It's all about getting better. It's like I told you guys. How we are right now, it's only gonna just get better and better. We're just gonna keep improving. And for those watching, I got my SelzSpeak shirt and my SelzSpeak fitted, right? Trying to rock the merch, you know what I mean? But listen, man, I'm very excited about today's episode because I think it's a topic that's become very I don't know, the way it's kind of treated in the public eye. It just made me feel like I needed to discuss that. And I'm talking about marriage. I feel like as of lately, marriage has just gotten such a bad rap and it's been portrayed as something so undesirable at times. And I'm like, what are we doing as people, or what is going on in society where marriage is starting to be portrayed as, a bad thing? You know what I mean? When you talk about marriage, all people are really referring to is the bad experiences that they dealt with, or the bad experiences that they've seen. And don't get me wrong, there are a lot of horror stories out there. There's a lot of things going on that's just, kind of sad, a little heartbreaking to hear. But the reality is like there's so much more to it. Like there's so much more out of this equation that we're really missing, that we're not getting. And I think, I wanted to kind of take this podcast to kind of highlight, the good things about it, the beauty of it, the fact that, marriage kind of has gotten a bad rap. And, what better position than to kind of talk about my own situation. And so for me, I'm a realist. Like, when I talk about my situation, I'm not one to mince words or pretend like everything is perfect. But I'm gonna keep it a buck too. Like, you know, I think sometimes when people approach situations, you create these unrealistic expectations. And so, like growing up, especially if you grew up in church culture, they glamorize marriage so much and make marriage seem like this beautiful thing, um, as like this prize to win. And then when you get there, you don't have the tools to be successful in it, and your marriage becomes a nightmare. And on top of that, you also, well, a lot of people, grow up in situations where the only example of marriage that they had was their parents' marriage. And that wasn't necessarily a good example either. And so when you have so many people who are constantly exposed to bad examples of marriage, what ends up happening is they naturally duplicate those same bad habits, those same destructive qualities that now manifest in their new relationship, and then it gives them issues. And so I think, you know, this is this podcast is going to be focused on the beauties of marriage, but also, simple ways to have a very successful marriage. And I'll start with, you know, the beauties of marriage, and taking my relationship specifically, giving a big shout out to my beautiful wife, Genevieve Jean-Pierre. Um, my relationship is a beautiful one. I used to ask this question, and I still do ask this question to people, and I say to them, if you had to characterize your relationship, your marriage, your relationship, your partnership, whatever it is, would you say that you are in a good relationship that has bad moments, or are you in a bad relationship that has good moments? And I want you guys to really think about that, because that can really make a difference between whether you should stay in a situation or go. Are you in a situation that is bad and has good moments? Meaning, like, it's not a good relationship. You're not treated well. You don't treat that other person well. There's no respect. There's no trust. It's a very contentious situation all the time. You guys are not bringing the best out of each other. If anything, you guys are just consistently bringing the worst out of each other. Like it's not good. It's a very contentious and just not healthy situation. Like, is that what your relationship is? And then every now and then when you guys are not fighting, okay, you guys have a nice Netflix moment, or go to the movies, have a good time, and you share a couple of laughs. And then for the next, you know, 3 weeks, you're fighting again. And then you have 2 days of peace, and then the next 2 weeks you're fighting again. Or are you a relationship where you guys are genuinely happy and you genuinely enjoy each other, and every now and then, you get into it, but you know how to deal with the conflict and you bounce back? So it's something to really think about. Like, are you in a good relationship with bad moments, or a bad relationship with good moments? Did I say that right? A good relationship with bad moments, or a bad relationship with good moments? So it's something to consider. And I want you guys to kind of think about that. And the reason why you got to start from that is because, well, a good marriage is dependent on a good relationship. And so going back to myself, I definitely think that I am in a good marriage that has bad moments, just like any other relationship across the board, whether it be marriage, friendship, sibling relationships, relationships between um parents and children, etc., etc. Like every relationship has their moments, but overall I think I have a great marriage. I have a beautiful wife who I trust, who is an amazing mother, an amazing wife. What I mean, she's down for the get down every time I'm not, and whenever I want to get down. She's smart. She, I could really go on and on about it, but I think the fun part about the relationship, which I don't know, it might even be hypocritical of me to say fun, but the challenge of my relationship has been learning to try to take what I have now to where I want it to be. Because like I've always had a desire and I've always had a direction in where I wanted my marriage to go and what I wanted it to look like. And one thing that they don't tell you before you get married is that the vision that you have for your marriage, the desire of where you want your marriage to go, you're gonna get there with consistent effort and et cetera, et cetera. And of course, the other person's involvement as well. But the time frame in which you get there is gonna be very different from what you think. I thought when I got married, in 2 years, 3 years, I'd be at this point, or at least 4 or 5 years, I'd be at this point. I'm about to be 5 years married, and we've made great progress in certain things, and in other things we haven't made progress in. And it's like, or I can't say we haven't made progress in, but we haven't made progress as fast as I would like it to be. And that's just the nature of marriage and relationships. And then especially when you throw two kids into that, like it can make things very, very challenging as far as like growing. Like, the thing about growth as a human being is that it's a lot easier to grow sometimes when you're just by yourself. Like your growth is not being supervised or influenced by someone who's always there. But when there's another person there who's constantly affected by your mistakes as you're growing, it gets 10 times harder. It's like, for example, what I mean? When I was learning sexual discipline, I was single. But if I had to try to learn sexual discipline while I was married, it would be a lot harder and it would be a lot more damage to my relationship, damage to my wife, and it would be a whole lot more issues than just me doing it on my own, not in a relationship, so that my spouse is not affected by my growing pains. And so I say that to say, like, you know, when you think about what makes a marriage amazing, what is dope about marriage, let's just start off with the first part, partnership. You are joining yourself with a person who loves you. So it's like no matter what goes on in the world, no matter how bad things get, no matter how broke you are, no matter how sick you are, this person has dedicated their life and made covenant to be by your side through thick and thin, through better or worse. When you rich and you balling, and when you down on your luck and everything is bad. And that's important because your parents, your family, what I mean, there's a sense of obligation of commitment to you because they've been there for your whole life. They put you into this world. But when you meet someone who is like, you know what, I choose you and I choose you every day, and you choose them and you choose them every day, like that kind of partnership, that kind of love, it is it's one of a kind. To find someone who like looks at you and sees all your flaws, and to see the things about you that aren't good, who sees your weaknesses, who sees your insecurities, who sees your fears and your doubts, and they still love you and see the best in you and still push you to be your best self and still continue to push you and encourage you, like that's unrivaled. That's unrivaled. That level of partnership is the thing that takes men and women to heights that they could never have reached by themselves. And I literally mean that. Like, if you have accomplished so much already on your own, just know that with a partner who loves you and who believes in you and who breathes life into you and who pushes you to be your best, you can do so much more. That, and it's always gonna be like that. Whatever you could do by yourself, you're always gonna be able to do more with the right partnership. That's how life was designed. That's how God designed us. In a way that when we're with the right people, when we're interdependent, we can expand and grow even more. You can always do more with a person than you can do by yourself. Now, with the wrong person, sure, you can make the argument that they slow you down and blah, blah, blah. But with the right person, they'll always magnify you. They'll always help you grow, help you expand. It's like, you could sit there and try to take pictures of yourself by yourself, but if you have a photographer, it's easier. And if your photographer is your boyfriend, your husband, because women mainly be the ones doing photo shoots, but if that's your husband, boyfriend, or whatever, and this person really, really cares about you, the tender love and care that they're gonna put into taking those pictures, or at least that they should, put into taking those pictures, is gonna be very different from a photographer that you're just paying for the job. It's just different. Having a person who, when you lay down, this person believes the world of you. And you could have just had the biggest L of your life, and they look at you like you're the greatest winner. Like, that is unparalleled. And then another beautiful part about marriage is the growth. And what I mean by the growth is that every day you are facing someone who sees you for you. Like, you can't BS this person. You can go on social media, you can go to your friends, and you could be like, oh, I'm doing this and I'm doing that, and I'm this way and I'm that way. And you could talk your talk. But your partner, your spouse, they see you for who you actually are. If you're clean, they know. If you're not clean, they know. If you're disciplined, they know. If you're a person of your word, they know. If you're punctual, they know. If you're kind, if you are patient, if you're not ill tempered, they know the truth about you. And for some people, that can be a super frustrating thing, because it's like, you can't deal with being exposed like that. But for other people, it's an opportunity, because now here's someone who sees you for who you actually are. And that could be a moment of growth, because now this person, of course, lovingly, will point out to you that, hey, you can be like this, or you did this, or you did that. And you could choose to be defensive. Or you could approach it and say, yo, you know what? This is a way in which I see how I can improve as a person. How I can improve as a person, as a father, as a brother, as a son, as a musician. As a musician, there's been times when my wife has been like, hey, you should try it this way, you should do it this way. And I'm not even gonna lie to you, my immediate, like, first quick reaction was just like, come on, man, what have been doing? And then I was like, no, 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 no. She got perspective. She sees things in a different way than I do. She sees things differently than I do. And there's value in that. And this is a person who has my best interest at heart. This person wants the best for me. They are not trying to hurt me. And so I would listen. And some of the greatest ideas that I've come up with and some of the dopest things that I've come up with have been because of my wife's suggestions. And that's what I'm talking about, partnership. That's what I mean by growth. Like, you're with someone who wants the best for you. That's what a good spouse is, someone who wants the best for you. So when you're married to a good person, a good partner, like, it's unrivaled, because again, every day you wake up, this person right here wants the absolute best for you. Can't top that. Can't top that. And what's beautiful is, the better you do, the better they do. The better they do, the better you do, because you guys are both each other's cheerleaders. It's unrivaled. There's no competition there. That person is your number one and you're that person's number one. That is the beauty of marriage. And so now if we keep going, right? The benefits, the dopeness of marriage, we talk about parenting now. For those of you people who want to be parents and have children one day, it's scientifically proven that kids flourish better in a two-parent home. And again, I'm talking about the people who are actually trying to do this right. Not the ones who are trying to be deadbeats or be bums or not do their fair share. I'm talking about people who are active in their children's life who are trying to be good, great parents. Your kids flourish. Having an example of a strong father, an example of a strong mother. I mean, we focus on the negative so much and we understand how much a negative relationship between husband and wife can have on children and the trauma that it can cause and the issues that it can cause. But there are also children who grow up in a household with two loving parents who love each other and also love the children. And so if there's trauma in the negative portion of it, imagine the blessings in the positive side of it. And the positive side does exist. It does. There are many marriages and relationships where the husband and wife love each other and they haven't cheated on each other and they haven't hit each other or disrespect each other and they're not abusing each other. Of course, they have their issues, but there's no level of abuse or emotional destruction. It's two people who care about each other, who are growing and trying to be better. And they present an image of love in front of their children. That's authentic and real. And so when you're a child growing up in that kind of environment and you see what love should look like, what it should feel like, that protects you from getting into dysfunctional relationships. Because what happens when the opposite is true? When you grow up in a situation where you're seeing dysfunctional relationships, the dad talks to the mom any kind of way, the mom act like the dad don't exist, everybody cheating on everybody, the communication is horrible, then that passes on the trauma. And the child just continues on. And it's a cycle that goes on and on. But in the same way that the negative can go on and on, the positive can too. The positive can too. And it does. Okay, so from great parenting to pooling resources. I mean, it goes back to the partnership, right? Well, when we say pooling resources, if this person was sitting on 50,000 and I'm sitting on 50,000, well, now we have 100,000. And if I know certain things about real estate market and you know certain things about the medical field, now we both know and share the knowledge of things in the medical field and things in real estate. Again, two people are always going to be better than one for the most part. Of course, there's always exceptions, yada, yada, yada. But if you're taking everybody on the same level of education, etc., two people always going out. Right? And I say that to say life is already challenging. Life is already hard. It's already difficult. So when you have a person who can cover the angles and the perspectives and the weaknesses that you have, and they can hold you down, yo, that can't be beat. I think about my homie right now. I'm not gonna name drop him, but I think about my homie right now, very successful, doing his thing, and his wife pushing in the same exact way. And she out here doing her thing, you know what I mean? And I'm watching them both flourish together, and that's what it should look like. I'm in my field, you're in your field, we both doing our thing. And then if there's any moments where we can cross over and I can help you level up and you can help me level up, that's what it's about. True partnership, true unity. Being able to pool our resources together. By myself, I only had 100,000. By yourself, you only had 100,000. But together we got 200,000. And now we can do something different. Pooling your resources. The people that you know, the connections that you have. Maybe these are the people that I needed to meet in my life. And now by knowing you being married to you, it opens me up to that whole community I never had before and vice versa. And to the next one, the benefits of marriage. I heard Shannon Sharp say this the other day and I thought it was just so spot on. Where you focus on being the greatest that you could be, on being the top of your field, and you reach your pinnacle and you succeed and you have done all the things that you said you wanted to do. But then when you look back and it comes back to it, there's nobody there to share it with. You got nobody to jump up and down with. You reach the highest levels of success, but you have no one to share it with. And it's just you. achievements, money, all of these things, pleasure, accolades, they all grow old. Even money. I've been in a position where I've been at the top of my mountain thus far, and I've been at the bottom of my mountain thus far. I've been in both positions at certain times in my life. And when it was just me, it's money come, money go. But when you achieve certain things in life and you have a person that you can celebrate those things with, yo, it makes it so much sweeter because when you married to the right person, you're not just grinding for yourself, you grinding for them. And to be able to achieve things in life and you can see the joy in their life and to enjoy in their face and you see how excited they are for you. And they just as excited for your wins and your accomplishments. Sometimes they more excited for your wins and your accomplishments than you are. Listen, that is no competition there. That's what it's all about. Like that is the beauty of it. Having a companion who not only celebrates your high moments with you, but is also there in your low moments. When you are going through things that if you were by yourself, you don't even know how you would make it, whether it be health, mental stuff, emotional, spiritual breakdowns, whatever it may be. It's like going through those challenges in life alone. Oh, it's tough. But when you're going through these tough moments in life and you have somebody right by your side who is reassuring you they're not going nowhere, they're going to be there. I'm not saying that person is perfect. Nobody's perfect. But to know that somebody got your back, listen, man, the right that's why relationships is always such a hot topic when it comes to human beings and books and podcasts. This relationship is always a hot topic because everybody's kind of looking for that. They're looking for that right person. And we see so many bad examples of the wrong thing. So many women with guys who are cheating. So many relationships where guys are getting played by women that we just feel like across the board is all bad. But it's not. It's not. It's not. And you know what? I really wanted to go and continue and to tell you the tips that make a great marriage. But you know me, I try not to keep the podcast long. So I promise you this. I'm gonna follow up. And it's either gonna be the next episode. Yeah. You know what? Next episode, I got you guys. And we're gonna talk about what or how to have a good, high quality marriage, a great marriage. The word of the year is high value. How to have a high value marriage. I'm gonna share with you guys the tips and the secrets on how to have a high value marriage because it is very, very achievable. It is very, very achievable. And you know, I'm gonna close you guys. I'm gonna close with this. I really dislike the fact that society places us in a position where we're either too scared to talk about how good our relationship is, or we're taught not to talk about how good our relationship is because somebody may hear it and want to take it for themselves. But it's like if you're married to someone who has boundaries, who respects themselves and who respects you, it's like you don't gotta worry about that. Like, I shouldn't be in a position where I'm afraid to say, wow, my wife can cook, my wife can throw down, my wife is one of the best wives in the world. Like, yo, I love my relationship. Waking up to her is just a dream come true. I shouldn't feel some kind of way about speaking highly of my relationship because I'm worried about the fact that if I say it to somebody, they're gonna target my relationship. Part of me bragging about my spouse should also be the fact in that, like, ain't nobody gonna come take my wife from me. My wife, speaking specifically, my wife is God given. You can't take what God gave me. It's God given. I ain't even give it to myself. God gave it to me. How you gonna take what God gave me? You can't take from God. And it's like, that's really the energy we gotta start moving forward in. Speaking highly of our relationships when they're good. And there are a lot of great relationships, but people just keeping their mouth shut. And great doesn't mean perfect. Great doesn't mean there's not issues, but great means you have a great relationship with bad moments. And if that's you, yo, speak up because everybody who's in a negative relationship, who's in a bad marriage, they can't stop talking. We don't stop seeing examples of bad relationships. But I know that there are many great marriages out there, and the world needs to hear that you are happily married. And so, you know what? All my married people who see this, listen, I want you to take this moment and I want you to just post you and your spouse on social media and talk highly of that person. Husbands, talk up your wives. Wives, talk up your husbands. It's not about them being perfect. It's about them being great with their flaws. And I want you to talk up your partner and hashtag it happy marriage, hashtag it SelzSpeaks. Y'all put it in there, y'all tag me in there. I'm gonna blast it everywhere. Because that's what we need to see. The happy marriages, the people who are so excited to wake up to their partner every day are caught up in this culture where they gotta just be quiet because if they say something, don't say nothing because people gonna target your spouse and try to take them for themselves. Cut it out. We done with that. 2023, we moving different. There's been already too much negativity. So you know what? If you are in a great marriage and you're happy and you know that you're in a good relationship that just has bad moments every now and then, blast your spouse. Speak highly of them. Blast your happiness. We need to see that because there's so many great marriages out there and we just not hearing from them. So I could go on and on and on, but I'm going to leave you guys with that. And before I go, I'm going to blast my wife, Jen. Listen, I love you to the world and back. You be driving me crazy sometimes, and I know I be driving you crazy too, but listen, I would want nobody else to do life with than you. I would want nobody else because I know I couldn't find another you. And the reality is, at the end of the day, you are perfect for me. You're perfect for me. So I love you endlessly and infinitely until death do us part. So, my beautiful people, I love you guys again. Listen, if you haven't subscribed to the podcast, subscribe on Apple Podcasts. Oh my God, there's so many platforms now. We on Apple Podcasts, we on Spotify. And now hit up my YouTube page, youtube.com, SelzJP, SelzJP, or just look me up now, SelzSpeaks. All right, it's been fun. I know this one was a little longer, but marriage and relationships always tends to be a fun topic. We gonna follow up with a part 2. What does it take to have a good, successful, high value marriage? I love y'all. It's been fun. Peace.